Welcome back here to Borio's 8891 McDonnells Parkway in Cicero, New York, right on Oneida Lake. No matter what the weather is, beautiful experience, great food, great atmosphere, great people in the community. Happy to be out here, and I thank Marty, Tony, I thank everyone on the Borio staff for having us be a part of this. Rob Drummond, Syracuse, NFL, CFL alum, creator of raps, someone who is helping children, adults, people, no matter what your age, to be at a place in your life where they feel physically fit, physically good about themselves, helping people to get recruited even just by the rap system and the hurricane scores, and helping athletes to really determine where their strengths and weaknesses are and how they can improve. And then, of course, doing this for over a decade. Longtime sportscaster, love doing what I do. As a writer as well, wakeupcalldt.com is the home of Dance Tortora broadcast media, and also on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for you to watch these shows. We've been talking about every single element of the Syracuse football team for the 2014 season. No better way to do it than with a man who not only knows Syracuse football, but knows the last time that Syracuse football had this many losses, folks. Goose egg in that loss column. It's been a long time, late 80s when you did it, and now Syracuse looking to do it again. We've talked about every position except for the secondary, so we'll start with the corners. This is a position where I feel like Syracuse had some guys that were there kind of grandfathered in. Rashard Anderson, it's no offense to him whatsoever, and I truly mean this. I know he worked hard, but as a corner, pass interference was a problem. He got faster as time went on, had some speedy plays against USC when they had the first New York College Classic at the Yankee Stadium. But besides that moment, there's really not a lot to say about what Rashard Anderson brought in coverage. And then Julian Wiggum was that backup guy. It's kind of worked his way in. Brandon Reddish, as a true freshman, was the third option, and now he's found his way. What do you think about the Julian Wiggum, Brandon Reddish run secondary as far as corners go?
Wiggum and Redding, to me, they're very capable, very, very talented young men, but anybody in football will tell you that cornerback is one of the hardest positions on a football field next to quarterback. Because basically, if you go man-to-man, you're out there on an island by yourself with a 6'3", 6'4", talented wide receiver who can run like the wind, who knows where he's going, and you have no idea where he's going. You're somehow, some way supposed to get in front of him and stop him from catching the ball or stop him from catching the touchdown. It's one of the hardest positions in the world. I give those guys a lot of credit. But you know what? These guys have experience. These guys have the simple fact that they go out there, and I always say, learn from your mistakes. They made enough mistakes last year, especially in the games of Clemson, in the games of Florida State, where learn from that. Just go out there and just get better. I always say it's okay to make a mistake because you can always get better.
When you look at someone like Julian Wiggum, he got injured in that Florida State game. He's found his way back. He's been practicing. He's been going out there. He's been fighting hard. This is a guy who's from Florida. He's from that Jacksonville area. So you have him. Antoine Cordy comes in at corner, who's a true freshman. Cordell Hudson's a true freshman. Don't know how much time they're going to get, but is the best way to beat the Clemsons and the Florida States to keep bringing in recruits that are corners from the state of Florida because of the speed that they play at?
No, we have to recruit athletes. And that's the one thing. You look at the Alabamas, you look at the Oregons, you look at the USCs of the old, you're getting better now. You look at the Clemsons, you look at the Florida States. They recruit athletes. You can take an athlete and make him play any position because they're super athletic. Julian Wiggum, being from Florida, as you know, Florida, Texas, California, that's where great athletes are from, so we have to basically go out there and make sure that these athletes get a chance to be able to go out there and make plays and just do well by themselves.
Continuing here, we talked about Julian Wiggum, talked about the other Florida guys, Antoine Cordy, Cordell Hudson, that Florida talent, also brought up Brandon Reddish. The secondary side of this is where veteran status comes in. I want to start with one guy, and I'm going to look at you, community, and I'm going to say this very honestly and openly. Because when a broadcaster is wrong, everybody tells you. But when a broadcaster is right, nobody tells you. Darrell Eskridge, at the safety position, a couple seasons ago, saw him at Fort Drum when they started at Fort Drum. The guy was flying everywhere. The only person to knock him down was Ashton Broyle, which is why I expect more more out of Ashton this season. But Darrell Eskridge flying to the ball, putting his body on the line, his speed, his effectiveness, his fight, his grind, his want to be a leader, his want to help guys that aren't even at Syracuse to realize their dreams, to know what it's like to be a good leader, to know what it's like to do the right thing. This gentleman may be, when all is said and done, a very high pick in the NFL draft. Shamarko made his name, but Darrell Eskridge, someone who I've believed in the past couple seasons, and now this being the third, can really, truly command this defense. And you talked about the Bermuda Triangle, and you put him into it. What do you take away from Darrell, who I feel was good back then, and now it's like everybody caught up to him?
It's funny. I look at safeties, the free safeties back. You know, when I played, you had Steve Atwater. He was 6'3", 230. You know, you had Lewis Oliver. Lewis Oliver was 6'2", 225, 230. You know, you had these big type, prototype free safeties that could run and play like corners and were aggressive and hit like linebackers. You know what? Darrell Eskridge, I have the utmost respect for this young man because he plays the position how it should be played. I look at Marcus Paul when I played him. Marcus Paul was a former quarterback. You know, Marcus Paul was about 6'3". You know, Marcus was about 220, 215 pounds, and he hit like a tank, covered like a cornerback. You know, I had the smarts to play the position. Darrell Eskridge is the same way, but on another higher level. This young man is a special player. This young man is something Syracuse really should be proud of having because he plays the free safety position how it should be played.
When you look at how Syracuse can match up against the teams that have really been commanding the ACC, with Clemson and the Florida States of the world, now Louisville coming in and what they could potentially do, is Darrell, when you look at his talent and what he's put together, is Darrell really, does the defense go where Darrell goes, so to speak, when it comes to Syracuse?
It's hard to have a defense go to where a secondary player is focused because at that point, if you're on defense and they're getting to the secondary level, you're in trouble. I think the defense more so is going to go through Cam. I mean, I think Cam Lynch is a player on defense. I mean, he's my go-to guy. I mean, between him and Dashawn Davis, either one of those two you can pick out. But you know what? They're the outside linebackers. They're at the line of scrimmage. They're slightly off the ball in order to make all the plays. You know what I mean? Like, it's to the point now with these young men, basically, they're getting late in their careers, you know, juniors and seniors, where it's time to step up. It's time to show these NFL scouts because at the end of the day, think about it, it's the NFL scouts who are trying to impress. You know, it's their time of day right now to show these NFL scouts what everyone sees because that's what they're looking for.
Outside of Darrell Eskridge, another guy at the safety position is Darius Kelly.
Yes.
Darius came over as a JUCO transfer last season. When he got rotated in, when certain things happened in the defense, he got his opportunities. He made big plays. He was able to get to the quarterback at times, was able to get after the ball. Darius is a guy who I felt good about coming in. I got an opportunity to talk to him for a while before he got in. And now that he's going into this season, I feel like he's one of those guys that's going to be another very effective player that maybe flies under the radar. What did you see from Darius Kelly, who's now going to be wearing number 8, folks? Make sure to look out for that.
You know what? Again, trial by fire. You have a really new starter coming in who basically has to go out there and prove himself. I always say freshmen coming in, I really don't count anything from them until I see them play. You know, JUCO guys coming in, I really don't count anything from them until I see them play. If I see them play, I mean play from a starting position. It's easy to go out there after the ebb and flow of the game is calmed down and you're able to go out there and make plays. But when the game starts, when the game's on the line, when everyone's so tight and everyone's so tense, and you're out there on the first play, that's when you see the true athleticism. That's when you see the true athlete comes out. These guys have to basically go out there and now from that starting position make plays from the start of the game to the end of the game. That will be a true test.
Another safety out there, Richie Desir.
Yeah.
Used a lot in the return game, but he's always been a rotational guy at that position. Sometimes he gets more playing time than others, but it seems like even though he's maybe a smaller frame guy when you look at a Darrell Eskridge, that he's been capable as well. What do you take away from Richie? Does he stand out to you?
I mean, Richie's problem, I won't say it's a problem, but Richie's mantra, as it's to say, is that right now is that he doesn't know what he is at safety, you know. Right now, is he a hitter? Is he a cover guy? Is he a downhill player? He doesn't know. Very, very talented athlete. He can go in there sparingly and make plays, but until he establishes in the coach's mind, until the conference mind, until the other team's mind, what type of player he is, he's He's always going to be that type of player who comes in situational players. It's okay to be a situational player, but in order to be a starter, in order to go to the next level, you have to be a solid player at one position and be good at the others.
Looking at the secondary, Syracuse is definitely going to have a lot going up against them to match up with. Louisville, obviously, they have a new quarterback. Clemson, they have a new quarterback, but Cole Stout had some reps last season, showed that he could do it. Florida State's coming back with the man that won the Heisman in the national championship, and Jameis Winston. So when it comes to the secondary, it is definitely going to be a lot of work. But do you see improvement over the last few seasons? Do you see that they're moving in the right direction? That's the biggest question. Is we can't say who they're going to beat because you got to play the game, but do you see improvement?
I see him improving. And it's like, as I say, and I'll keep attesting this the entire year long. Like Coach Mack says, out with the old, in with the new. Players are going to change. It's the nature of the beast. It's the way the game is played. You know, college football players basically only have to stay 3 years. You know, Jerome Smith basically should be on the team this year, but he's not. For the simple fact that he wanted to leave and go to the NFL. That's how the game happens. So you have to replace a guy with a new guy, and these guys have to step up. But Syracuse is headed in the right direction. Play Syracuse football. Hard-nosed, 4 down, score touchdowns, stop them on offense. That's how you win football games. If you score more points than they score, you win a game. I heard that from John Madden one time, and I just started laughing because I was just like, John, I have the utmost respect for John Madden, but I was like, duh, no kidding, that's football. But you know, a day later, I took a step back, and I thought about that statement. I was like, you know, he's absolutely right. It's basic. It's so simple. I mean, a child could do it. Score more points than your opponent, and you'll win the game. And that's what it's about. Find a way to get it done.
Syracuse looking to get that done, starting off the season 2014 with us, giving you every single position, talking about all the players, going up and down the line, and we will hit that special teams, which is a lot more important than people give it credit for. Rob Drummond, Syracuse, NFL, CFL, and of course Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, bringing you this live show and plenty more from Borio's. 8891 McDonnells Parkway in Cicero, New York. Catch us on wakeupcalldt.com on the Back on the Field page, where we rebroadcast every single video feed, as well as on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Make sure you make your way out to Borio's, especially during the football season when we're in the thick of things. If you have your questions, we have our answers. Make sure you come out and see us. 8891 McDonnells Parkway in Cicero.